Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls Lounge podcast with your hosts, Liz and KT. And today we're talking about our favorite subject, influencers. But before we get into that, we're going to get into what we've been up to. So, Liz, tell our people what we've been up to or what you've been up to.
So I've been locking in or attempting to, I feel like is the better wording, attempting to lock in when it comes to my schoolwork. For those of you who don't know, me and Kindy have like 2 weeks left of classes after this week, which this week doesn't even really count because it's like Thanksgiving and we're like on our break now. But we got last week of classes and then finals. And let's say all them final projects and papers, they're all indeed piling up right now. So keep us in your prayers, please.
And see, with what sucks for me is for some reason my university, something with the semester is like way shorter than it usually is. So my finals week is literally next week. So I don't get that nice extra week. So I've been, doing some work, trying to get ahead of a little bit of studying before actual Thanksgiving, but it's been rough.
No, Kindy, I don't know how you're doing it. The way I'm literally taking like this week to catch up on stuff and like work ahead. Let's just say next week I got a 15-page paper due and it's very much not been started. Document not even in existence right now. So
Yeah, I'm glad that I'll be coming home early, but I really wish we had that extra week because I feel like there's just like a lot going on and I just want to enjoy my break. So I've just been trying to enjoy the semester, but honestly, I was able to come home early for break, which I was happy about because there's just something different about being home. Like, I just love that today I was just able to wake up, do my internship stuff, do my homework, and it's just quiet, chill, being out in the boonies, just very chill. But I hate how I really haven't got to rest though, because it's always when you come home for a break, like your family, suddenly you have to be everywhere and help them with everything. So literally, I came home Friday, Saturday, I had to wake up early. And mind you, because of Vegas, things were like up late. So, sleep feared me. I did not really see sleep this weekend. So I had to help my mom with her sorority pack up things for people who like couldn't, afford to get Thanksgiving food. And y'all, this little girl humbled me there. She said I look 12. And you could tell it really bothered me because I'm still talking about it. I'm like, 12. I do not look 12. That is insane. She don't know what she's talking about because she's a little kid. And then, yeah, that's it. I got humbled and I'm just trying to survive this semester.
the way the end of the semester literally just came out of nowhere, I feel like. I swear it was just August.
No, literally. I'm like, I feel like I'm still learning content. What do you mean we're at the end of the semester and it's finals? Like, this semester really flew by so fast.
So we're gonna go ahead and get to our favorites of the week. This week, I have been loving a specific podcast. I've been listening to the El Luchador podcast, which if you guys follow or if you know Romeo Centeno on TikTok, this is his podcast that he has with his siblings. And right now it's like him and his sister because his brother's in college. But I like caught up on so many episodes. The other day I was at work and I was there like before the store opened, like a good 3 hours before the store opened. And I just had my AirPod in and I literally went through like 3 episodes because I was just stocking shelves and everything and just had the podcast in. And it's just like, it feels like I'm on FaceTime with someone. It's the perfect vibes, just like the sibling banter and everything. Also manifesting for me and Kennedy because Romeo be working with Red Bull all the time. So, I'm going to take it as a sign for us, Kennedy.
Yes, I'm gonna take it as a sign as well, even though I do not listen to that podcast. My favorite of the week is Puffer Best, y'all. I just got around to them last Christmas, and y'all, I'm obsessed. They're like the perfect thing to just throw on if you're going for a more casual look, but also more dressed up look. And when I tell you guys, ever since it started getting cold, my 2 puffer vests I have been in rotation.
No, because I rediscovered like puffer vests last like winter and they add so much to your outfit and they are so warm too. Yes, your arms aren't covered, but like your core is, and it just like adds warmth to that area.
Yes, like I have this really thick one from Old Navy. So good. And it's browns. Y'all, don't be sleeping on Old Navy. Literally, my market research group, we were talking about this, and we are like, people be sleeping on Old Navy. They be having some cute clothes for a good price. And they be having a lot of discounts too.
And now we're gonna get into Kennedy's favorite part. I know she has been waiting to talk about this because this race was a little hectic. I don't even know everything that went on, but I'm gonna let Kennedy take it away.
So, as you guys know, the Las Vegas GP just happened, and wow. Okay, so I always thought that like my number one American race I would want to go to was Miami, but nah, it's now Las Vegas. When I tell you, first of all, race content, like when it's a race week, it's not just Thursday to Sunday. No, it's the whole week you gotta be tuned in, and that was even more true for the Las Vegas GP. I loved the content leading up to it. Like, first, I just love seeing all my favorite F1 creators there, like the ones that I listen to their podcast and the ones I follow on TikTok. I would say like my big three on TikTok, if you know, you know, are Nora, fellow Lando Norris fan and McLaren fan, Alessandra Gio. I believe she lives in Miami, and then Nora, love their content, and then the two podcasts, or actually three of them, but the two that I just kept up with the most is Paddock Project and Fan Behavior. They're also there. The content I was being fed, and just a bunch of other people as well. It was just so good. And then, okay, we're completely going off road real quick because I'm talking about people I love, and now I'm about to talk about things that I hated. Y'all, as a Lando fan, let's just say we've been in the trenches for the past couple weeks, just with, you know, the media just twisting their words. And I feel like before the GP, there's a lot of discussion about him and the media twisting his words. I feel like because this was the race that decided, you know, who was going to be the driver's champion. It ended up being Max, but honestly, as a Lando fan, I knew it was never giving champion for Lando this season. Not in a bad way. This is like the first year McLaren has ever really been in the picture for things like this. So I just did not see it coming, hoping 2025 is that year. But I just knew that this year wouldn't be it. Especially because I'm pretty sure they started off the season not the best. But anyways, back on topic. So the one thing that I saw like a lot of TikToks and stuff about, and I'm like, I just want to talk about this so bad, is Lando basically was like, he was saying that him and Max are not, you know, best of friends, which is true. Like, of course, like it just makes me mad when people expect these drivers to be like besties, and like they feel like when Lando says these things, like he's being disrespectful to Max, and they feel like Max cares more about their friendship or whatever. But I'm like, at the end of the day, people don't understand, while this may not be a traditional like office job, at the end of the day, they are still coworkers. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not that deep, you guys. Like it's fine. And literally Lando congratulated Max after the race, posted a picture. Like, it's all fine, you guys. Like, they're not best of friends. They may hang out once in a while, have dinner or whatever, but at the end of the day, they're literally coworkers. And I just hate the way people be coming for him. Like, it's just really unnecessary, to be honest. I feel like people just intentionally try to twist his words, and it's really annoying. And then the last thing about content was Paul Mascot was literally the face of this GP, especially with Ferrari. Like, Mans was everywhere, like just all the content before, but even like the pre-race stuff they show on TV, y'all, he was up in here doing interviews and stuff. During the grid walk, they were talking to Paul. I was like, okay.
But you know, at least Lando and Max are doing a little bit better than other teammates, as we will discuss very, very soon. But what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the whole like Paul Mescal. Honestly, I feel like it was kind of like out of place and so random, especially because he's not like currently, to my knowledge, he might be. He's not currently like in any like upcoming show or like movie or anything. I feel like so. I feel like it was just like really random for him to be there, but I still ate up the content.
Yeah, his movie Gladiator just came out, I think. So so I think there's been a whole thing with like Gladiator and like F1 Ferrari that they've been like combining since Ferrari was at their premiere.
You know, I like totally forgot that movie existed and he was in it, so just ignore me.
And now we're gonna get into the actual race. Y'all know I do not watch practice, so we're gonna get into quali. So I will say it was late because it's a night race in Vegas. So that means on the East Coast it was like 1 to 2 a.m. And y'all, I do not stay up that late anymore. So I fell asleep at the beginning of Q3, which is literally the only part I care about. So I was so annoyed about that. But imagine my surprise when I woke up to George P1, Carlos P2, and Pierre P3. Pierre in an Alpine. I was like, oh, we're gonna get another Brazil. We're gonna get another surprise. And low key, people be sleeping on Alpine, but I know Travis Kelsey was probably happy about that. Actually, I don't even know if qualifying gets them points, but yeah, I was like, wow, okay, Pierre, I see you. We're gonna have another good weekend. But going into the race, if you know, you know, he had a DNF because like his engine blew up and it was not good. He was losing power. It was so funny because he was losing power. He was losing power, and he was like, I'm losing power. And his like mechanics or whatever, like, no, everything's looking good. The next thing you know, you just see smoke coming. And I was like, oh, something about that Alpine. One weekend it's good, the next it's not. But by lap 14, I knew it was gonna be rough for my McLarens and Ferraris. So I wasn't the happiest watching. I was a little stressed. I was like, wow, my two teams, what happened? Yeah, we all know about the Ferrari fiasco. I feel like they're always chaotic. Yeah, so George got P1, Hamilton P2, Sainz P3, but I'm surprised Sainz was up there and is still like his result is being put up there because if you guys know the whole incident, he wanted to go in for a pit stop, but his people were like, no, no. He would have been P2 allegedly by the statistical people. He would have been P2 if they would have just let him in when he wanted to. But then I think it got some miscommunication because he was like, I want to go in. They're like, no. But then they're like, okay, you could come in. But at the last moment, they're like, no, we're not ready. Stay out. And yeah, so I thought he was going to get a penalty from that because he already like passed the line into the pit lane. Whereas like if you pass over, you're going to get a penalty for like safety reasons. And I'm surprised that FIA didn't look into that. Max won the Drivers' Championship. I'm not a Red Bull fan, but you know, I respect Max as a driver. He is very talented. I feel like people, because of his dominance, try to undermine his talent or because of his attitude. Because when I first started watching Drive to Survive, I did not like him. I was like, oh, he's really mean. He has an anger issue, but you know, he's really grown on me. So he's the 4-time World Drivers Champion, which is really cool. Post race, I feel like we just have to talk about Charles. We have to talk about his hot mic moment and the comments he made. I think he was mostly mad because Carlos overtook him, but in my opinion, and I would say Liz's opinion, Charles had every right to. He has nothing to lose. Charles, I think with the
Carlos.
oh my bad. Carlos.
Carlos had every right to.
Sorry, with the two C's and being so close to each other, I be getting so confused. Yeah, so I think his race engineer was like trying to get his attention, and he said what he said about how he always is a nice guy, yada yada yada. And then I think like he kind of meant like he didn't think they were listening after that, and he said some things, and I was like, ooh. And then later on, I saw that they told Carlos that he would not overtake him. And I think Charles might have felt like, you know, Carlos wasn't listening, which he probably wasn't, but like, as he shouldn't, like, try telling him in Spanish. And I was like, oh, that was a little bratty.
No, because I'm not even gonna lie, when I saw the clip, I was dying. I thought it was so funny. Like, what's it uncalled for? Yes, but I thought it was hilarious. He was like, say to him in Spanish, maybe he'll understand. Like, bruh, that part just really got to me. I do still think though, like, Carlos, he did what he had to do. You know, this is one of his last few races. He wanted like his people to listen to him, and they weren't listening, so he just kept on going. Also though, I feel like Ferrari was kind of wrong for like telling him don't overpass, like don't pass him. Like y'all just want him to break. Like I don't understand what y'all wanted him to do.
No, literally, especially because like Carlos was going faster. Do you want him to just like mess up his tires? Let him pass. If he's faster, let him pass. So annoying. Ferrari, I hope when Lewis Hamilton comes, y'all get it together. And I'm hoping Williams listens to Carlos. I'm sure they will. But I'm just like, again, Carlos is going to Williams. They're not doing the best. Their car is not the best. So who knows the next time he's going to get a podium? It's probably going to be a couple years. So let him get his podiums while he wants it. And even Carlos said, like, they couldn't do no better than P3 and P4. It doesn't really matter, Charles, that you got P4. No, it really doesn't.
And then the fact, like, I mean, I haven't seen like the crowd reaction kind of like when they're on the podium, but I didn't see like the Ferrari people there. Honestly, like they just left Charles to collect his, you know, trophy or whatever. Like that's kind of crazy of them. They just left him sitting there alone, no support. Like if anything, I feel like they should have shown like a united front. And then Charles's Instagram post, he was so petty. The way he has a picture with Hamilton, and Hamilton is the one that's gonna be going over to Ferrari, like I can't. The pettiness is so out of pocket, but like it's so entertaining.
No, because I love F1 drivers because they're so petty. But yeah, it was only the team principal and some other lady, I don't know who she is. I don't know if it's his wife or whatever was there. I was like, wow. Carlos at Williams, I hope they treat you better because you deserve better. Charles' post was actually so petty. I was like, he is so dead wrong. And then like also in their interviews, like him just like being so open about, yeah, like I'm mad at Carlos like I'm frustrated with him, and then Carlos is like, yeah, I'm not discussing that with you guys.
Someone was the bigger person in the situation. And if you think it's Charles, you should really reconsider.
Exactly that. But overall, the weekend was really cool and the FOMO was real. Me and Liz will be there within the next year or two, or maybe even three. We'll see. Anyone from Las Vegas GP, if you're watching this, listening to this, just know we will deliver all the content and we will be forever grateful. And then the last thing I have to say about F1, some crazy news dropped hot off the press this morning or earlier today. There's a new team coming to F1 in 2026, which I think is going to be a crazy year because there's going to be a whole bunch of new regulations and stuff coming. But there's a new team coming. It's an American team, so another American team because Haas is on the grid, but I just ignore that fact. And it's going to be Cadillac slash GMC Motors. I'm excited for another American team. I love the Americans getting in European spaces and Americanizing everyone. All I know is I want Franco to be in one of those seats.
And I also agree with Kennedy. Give Franco a spot.
And maybe even Pato Award. But that's all I have to say about F1 this week.
And on other news, we're going to start off our pop culture section. We'll start it off on a more sad note and then we'll end on a happier note. It was Liam's funeral this past week. I don't have much to say other than there's like a rumor, which I'm pretty sure like it hasn't been confirmed, but it's like pretty much true that Liam's family agreed to like have paparazzi there because they knew that they knew that they would be there either way. So they said that they could take pictures of everything, just not of Bear, Liam's son. And out of all the images and videos I've seen nothing with Bear in it. So I'm pretty sure that the rumor is true.
Which is like, it's like sad that they have to do that, but I understand. Glad that the paparazzi, stuck to the agreement. But it was just so sad seeing those pictures. It just like, it like brought up like everything again. Like, oh, it's just so sad. It was just crazy seeing all the boys back together. And I even saw a picture. I can't remember of who. I think it was Harry and someone else hugging. And like, ugh, I'm like, I hate that this is the circumstance that One Direction comes together. And I hope the boys somewhat stay in touch after this and kind of take it as a sign as like, maybe we should be there more for each other.
I think it just really like made it real again, that like this is the way that it ended and everything. But in seeing the images of the boys, especially the one of like Harry, where you could tell that he was like red nose crying and everything, like that just hit so much, like seeing that and everything and seeing all the other boys. It just really made it real, I guess.
Yeah, and I also saw like a video of Niall crying. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. And just like seeing like a bunch of other people that have just showed up for Liam, but glad that he was laid to rest because I saw there was problems of getting his body back to the UK. So I'm glad they had their service and I'm glad it wasn't really, interrupted and all that.
And on some other news, Verity, which is one of Colleen Hoover's books, one of those like popular ones, it's being turned into a movie and Anne Hathaway is going to be playing Verity, who's like in the book, she's not like the main character, but like she is a main character. Basically, the book follows this caretaker nanny person who comes to live at the house. And at the house, the wife, Verity, is like in a coma. And that's who Anne Hathaway is going to be playing. And I think the casting is so perfect because she just gives, if you've read the book, you know that there's like some like suspense, creepy vibes to it. And Anne Hathaway gives exactly that.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. I'm going to be sad. I was sad for It Ends With Us and I'll be sad for Verity. I think Anne Hathaway is going to play this role perfectly. I think she's really going to bring it to light. I'm really curious on who's going to play the husband and then the other girl, the caretaker. I'm just really excited to see it come to fruition. And now we're going to get into what we've been watching for me. Basically YouTube. I'm still trying to finish Rival with a bunch of finals coming up. I've just been focused on like school and stuff. But I'm actually almost finished with Rivals. I think I'm going to end up finishing it tonight. I'm on the second to last episode. Y'all, it's getting crazy. But yeah, I've just mostly been watching YouTube, love my vlogs, and yeah.
I have also been watching YouTube. I haven't watched YouTube in like such a long time, like actually sat down and watched the videos. And I was doing that like the past few nights. I put on my TV, like, what's it called? The Fire setup. And then I was watching my laptop and the vibes were so good. I forgot how much I love my YouTube vlogs. So I was actually watching that. And then I didn't realize part 2 of season 6 of Cobra Kai came out. So I actually somehow managed to finish that this past week. Don't ask me why. It's probably the reason that I had to start and finish a paper yesterday. But anyways, y'all, this new, like, if anybody on here watches Cobra Kai still, let me just tell you, the finale of that season, jaw drop, jaw on the ground. I had to replay it a couple times to make sure that like I was watching the episode correctly and I didn't like miss something. And I was like, no way, that's the end. Like, there's no episode after this. Because honestly, I feel like a lot of Cobra Kai seasons, they're kind of like repetitive. You know, someone joins the dark side and then they're like battling each other. But the ending of this season, like nothing I've seen before on Cobra Kai. So I will be sat for the new season.
That makes me excited to watch because I haven't started it yet, but my brother was texting me about it, asking if I started it. And he said like this season has a different feel than the others.
Yes, I totally agree with your brother. And you need to add that to your list after your finals, Kennedy.
I will. And now we're going to get into our song of the week. So I'm still on my Tate McRae phase, whatever. I'm literally obsessed. Like, Tate, please invite us to a concert. We will be lit. This week, I am obsessed with Two Hands by her, so I'll play a part by her that I like. So as you can see, it's just good vibes.
So my song of the week is one of Rauw Alejandro's new songs on his album, and it's called Que, and this is my favorite part of this song. This is one of my favorite songs on the album, I do have to say. And that's my song of the week.
And now we're gonna get into the topic of this week's episode, and that is influencers. Whoop whoop. When I tell you, me and Liz are literally experts in influencer culture. Like, there's no one that knows more about influencer culture than us two. I swear. Liz, you have any thoughts to intro this topic with?
Just know that me and Kennedy have been around like the influencer evolution since day one, since they were on YouTube and like barely had a platform. So we are very informed on this subject.
So real. Like, trust, I was around, I started watching like YouTubers and just social media influencers back in like 2014, maybe even a little bit before that. Like, trust, we was there for MadCon, we was there for School Alicia. We was there.
No, like this is before vlogs were a thing, when it was like DIY videos and like challenges. We saw the evolution of vloggers.
No, because we were really there. Because when we were younger, YouTube was basically just like, I remember like the Seven Supergirls, like those type of channels. And it was all like skits, comedies, DIY videos, music type stuff. And that was pretty much it. Like, vlogs were not a thing. So before we get into it, we are going to first provide you with a definition on the difference between a celebrity and an influencer, because yes, they are different. So a celebrity, simply, according to Google, is a famous or well-known person, and an influencer is a person with the ability to influence potential buyers of a product or service by promoting or recommending the items on social media. And I will also say, I feel like there is also a difference between an influencer and a content creator. Because I will say there's a lot of people that I watch who I'm like, they don't ever try to sell me stuff. Then there's other people that I'm like, wow, all their stuff is like advertisement.
Yes, I totally agree. And I feel like sometimes influencer and content creator, they be used interchangeably just because they both create content. But when you really look at it, they're not the same.
So I honestly didn't know the best way to structure us talking about this topic, so bear with me, please. Bear with us. So first, I thought it would be good for us to dive into, like, I guess the cons of the culture, and then since we're talking negatively, maybe do some positives, and then just get into other things that I didn't really know where it would fit. The first thing that I kind of gives me the ick about influencer culture is, I guess, the topic about privacy, and then if we're talking about celebrities, I guess the paparazzi.
Yes, I feel like both celebrities and, well, I feel like celebrities, they kind of know more that like they're going to obviously get this following. So like privacy isn't really, I mean, it's still a thing, but it's not like to the extent of a normal person. So I feel like with celebrities, there's not really this issue of like privacy and paparazzi. Yes, the paparazzi does a little bit too much sometimes, but I feel like with influencers and content creators, there is this like unknown line of like what they want to show and what they don't want to show. And this really thin line is like crossed so often. And honestly, I find it kind of annoying when they constantly complain about the lack of privacy that they have. And like, I understand you don't want your whole life out there, but when that's like literally your livelihood is making videos about your life, I feel like when you're constantly complaining about not having privacy, it kind of defeats the purpose of what you're doing.
I agree. To me, it just has never made sense because it's like I feel like most people that I see complain about the lack of privacy are some of the influencers that literally put their whole business out there. And to me, I don't understand why it's so hard for them to kind of like think of like things to share, things to not. I feel like that should be common sense. I don't know if that's like too harsh, but I've always wondered why it comes to a shock to some people about like kind of like the lack of privacy, especially if they kind of grow faster or if they were kind of inspiring to be in the spotlight. Because it's just like, okay, your goal has always wanted to like be able to make money for yourself through social media. So like what did you think that meant? Like I'm just like so confused. It's like the same vibe when like celebrities, specifically maybe like actors or singers, because those are like the most like those are the people that I tune in with the most, where it's like, okay, so you wanted to be an actor. And to be a good actor, that means you have to be successful. And with success comes fame. Like you can't have fame without success and vice versa. Well, I guess technically you can't, but for this example, you can't. And it's just like I'm confused on where you're confused at. Like, of course this is gonna happen. I just feel like you have to just acknowledge that and just kind of like you just have to be okay with it, or just not be an actor, I guess. And I am fully stand behind the fact that like if you truly want to be private, you can be private. If you don't want to be seen, you don't have to be seen. Like I just think of like Beyonce. How many pop pictures do we take? And Taylor Swift, one of the mega pop stars. Y'all remember when she literally went like no one seen her for like a year or maybe even more at that one time. So I just think truly if you really don't want to be seen, don't want to share this and this, then you don't have to. And like you just have to like set boundaries, but don't be rude about it.
Exactly that part, because it's like when they put their, like, I don't know, for example, their relationship on the internet, and then they complain that that's what all people are asking about. Like, you put it out there. I don't know what you expect from us, but literally, like the Taylor Swift example, perfect example of how they can still have a private life.
And to the relationship example, it's like you made literally being in a relationship like your whole personality. Like you made content about your relationship. So like, why, like, of course people are going to ask if I'm like, in real like life outside of social media, like saying like, for example, like your school, like if you notice like, oh, this couple isn't posting anymore, even though they're not an influencer, like it's just like natural human curiosity. So like, of course, when you have millions or thousands of followers, people are gonna ask about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't flatter yourself because it's just like natural human curiosity.
And our next little con is cancel culture. I feel like cancel culture, honestly, recently has become kind of like less of a thing, or as less extreme as it was, because I feel like there was a period not too long ago where it cancel culture truly meant what the name said. People were canceled. They were out of here. They were done. But now I feel like it's a little different.
I feel like I don't really believe in cancel culture anymore because it's like, well, honestly, I don't know if I ever really believed in it. I feel like it's because the term cancel culture has become very politicized. I feel like right wing people have really made it into like this thing. So then they say cancel culture, this, and this, when it's just really not cancel culture. It's just people getting held accountable. I think that's really what gets me and why I hate the term cancel culture. And I get annoyed when I see like some influencers or celebrities just talk so much about, oh, I don't want to get canceled. Mind you, they have like 10,000 followers. No one really knows you like that. Like, you're not going to get canceled, I promise you. And like, low key, I find it kind of a red flag when influencers are just like, you gotta be so careful about what you say these days. Cancel culture, like, like, the road is just not like that. I mean, I could be delusional. Maybe just the size of social media I'm on is not like that. Like, I definitely think there are people on social media who get like a lot of unwanted flack or just like a lot of flack for no reason, where it's like, dang, can this person get a break? But at the same time, most of the time when people get a large amount of people upset, it's probably for a good reason.
And the whole part about accountability, I think, is like the perfect way to put it, cuz it's not really about like can like I don't believe in like fully canceling them, honestly, depending on what they do, but I feel like in most instances it's not really like a whole cancelable, is that even a word? A whole like a thing where they could be like fully canceled and everything. It's like you said, accountability of like being held responsible for what they did and their actions, cuz I feel like sometimes they feel like they're above that.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on those little apology videos. And next, we're gonna get into parasocial relationships. Honestly, I feel like I don't have much to say about this topic, except that sometimes I feel like influencers be feeding into it. Yes, your followers are like, yes, they're your people, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge that like they don't know you like people in your real life know you, if that makes sense. Like, yes, they can really get you and understand you. That's why they follow you, because they feel a connection. But at the same time, they're not your best friend. You shouldn't treat your followers like that, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like, sometimes the wording of things I see, I'm like, ooh, that could be a problem in terms of like parasocial things. That just may be me like overanalyzing everything. And at the same time, that goes for the other end as well. Cause like at the end of the day, we see their persona they put online. We don't really know the true them, even if it is, pretty close to who they are. We all have our different sides to us. Like the way I am on this podcast might be a different way that other people perceive me.
Yeah, I think like it all really comes down to like you don't interact with this person on a day-to-day basis. Like you don't see them in their highs and lows. So you truly don't really know them. Like you said, we're only seeing like what they put out there. And even if they are like authentic and they put out who they are, we still don't know them in like every situation, you know? So I feel like I don't know, I find it weird when people are like, "Oh, that's like my actual like my bestie, my best friend or anything." I'm like, "You've never met them."
And our last thing for the cons is I think some influencers, celebrities, maybe social media is not their thing and they should stay off. For influencers, I think, not everyone is meant to have a social media platform. And I think some celebrities aren't meant to have a social media presence or at least be in charge of their own social media. And yeah, sometimes what they post just makes me cringe.
I think it like it's really because they're not even showing like their true like self and everything. Like you can really tell, even though we just said you don't know the person, you know. I feel like you can tell easily like when it's inauthentic because it comes off like Kenny said, like cringy and just like the vibes aren't there. So I'm like, if that's how your whole thing is gonna be, your whole platform, maybe you should try something else. And now we're gonna get into some of the pros of the influencers, content creator culture and whatever. So first off, we have inspiration. I feel like I take this as you are able like seeing these like influencers and especially like content creators out there like creating a new pathway of making a living and everything by literally doing something that they enjoy. Because I feel like most of these people they go on it for the right intentions because they enjoy it. They truly enjoy like putting out their content, making videos, editing them, doing all that kind of stuff. So it kind of like shows you like different platforms and like things that you can do with social media and like content creating.
For me, I'm very picky about the influencers I follow and stuff because I just want pure happiness when I'm on social media. So I truly only follow influencers who are like very inspirational. I look up to them in some type of way, whether it's their lifestyle, their mentality, things like that. And like Liz said, just to show like a path, like a new path through social media. And the fact that like through social media and like influencer marketing, like it's crazy like how many jobs have been created, like literally, like directly or indirectly, because literally I'm a social media marketing major. Like years ago, not even years ago, literally last year, that's probably not even a thing people would think about majoring in. And just like being able to work in social media because of the power of the influencers on there is crazy. And just like the experiences it can give you, I think is really crazy. And I think we all know the power that these platforms can hold to share the good. Like for the election, I think Taylor Swift posted like a link or something, millions or hundreds of thousands like click the link to sign up to be able to vote. And I just think that is really good. And then for me, specifically like escapism, I feel like this is what entertainment in general has always been for me, but especially when I was younger and honestly so now, like I just find a lot of comfort in the people I watch. It makes me feel less alone. You can just find people who relate to you if you can't find those people in real life.
And I think with that, it's also really cool to like see different like lifestyles and everything that you otherwise wouldn't really see. Because, like, yes, you can see it like in a TV show and everything, but it's not always going to be like accurate. So I think it's really cool to like, I follow a lot of like influencers. I know Kenny follows them too that like live in Florida, live near the beach, live in the like the city, literally in New York City. So you can see like the different like lifestyles with that. And like, I feel like you're kind of like living with them in that video that they post and everything. So it's like cool to see like their day to day, like what they do, getting groceries, you know, like in New York City, you literally have to like hike up the apartment with like your bags and everything. Like you don't just drive everywhere, you know? So I think it's really cool to like see those things and then like put yourself in their shoes and see if that's maybe something that you would like to do, you know? I think that's really cool with social media and like the influencer culture, especially I feel like the evolution of it to where it like started off, like Kenny said, like I completely forgot about the Seven Supergirls little skits, like all of those videos and like DIY, like it was things that were made like for like creation, I guess, or like content, but now it's like literally people just showing like their everyday life, you know? It's nothing crazy. Like literally the videos I've been watching on YouTube this past week is people just like putting up their Christmas decorations and like cooking at home, you know? It's very simple things, but it's like so relatable. And honestly, I kind of see it like reading a book. Like when you read a book, you're like in a different world, you know? Like you can disassociate and everything. And I feel like with social media, like Kennedy said, you can just like escape. You're in for like the 20 minutes of the video that you're watching, you're somewhere else.
And also, I feel like just following all these influencers with their different lifestyles, like Liz said, it really opens your eyes. Like before, like I really got into the thick of it. Like before COVID, I would have been like, yeah, I'm staying in Kentucky my whole life. But generally having that time in COVID and just finding all these new creators, it just since then has opened my eyes to like different parts of the US. And I'm like, oh, like I would love to live in like New York City, Charleston, California, yada yada yada, maybe even abroad. And it just truly has opened my eyes to like different lifestyles, like Lisa said, and just even like places that like I would love to travel to that I didn't even know existed until I saw the vlogs on YouTube. So I think that's a really cool aspect as well.
And so our last little section is just kind of everything else that like the influencer world kind of, I guess, has within it. Cause I feel like we talked about the bad, we talked about the good, but there's still like other things, you know? So first up we have PR. So for those of you who don't know what PR is, it's basically brands will send these content creators and influencers product for them to like hopefully show on their platforms. Some of them will just like show like, oh, thank you for this package, and then other people will like actually like try on the package or like whatever is in it and everything. So there's different forms of PR and everything. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger and still now, I was like, that is the dream. Like getting all of that PR for free, say less.
I am set for PR hauls on TikTok and YouTube. It's just so interesting. But I'm like, on the side of an influencer, I'm just like, wow, that is like so much product. Like, I can imagine in the beginning, like, it's so exciting. Like, even with me, I just won a giveaway to win like a PR package from Grey Bandit, and that was like the happiest day of my life. And I would love for more brands to send me and Liz some things through our podcast. But I'm just like, wow, but at the same time, I think it could be overwhelming for an influencer to get that much stuff because you literally cannot use that much stuff in a lifetime, especially when it comes to like skincare and makeup. Because I feel like for the most part, people have their set routines. What works for them, and they're not really reaching for that many products. So I can just imagine that's a lot to deal with. Like I see so many influencers with literal bins full of products that they give away to followers or give away to like shelters and family members, and like I just really couldn't imagine having all that stuff. And I know a lot of people talk about like the overconsumption of it and how brands would probably send those packages to maybe other people, but I understand it's a whole marketing tactic, and like people don't understand that the social media influencer business, whatever, it's a $1 billion industry, and it's gonna rise to trillions, I think. So like these brands, they got plenty of money. Trust, they are not losing out. I would love to be on the other end, but I can also see the other end where it's like that is just way too much product, and especially like they're just over the top. Like I know a lot of people have a problem with the Tarte PR packages because it's like you're giving these influencers who make like six figures a month like a iPad or whatever, when it's like they can literally buy that on their own.
No, and like I remember like especially when I was like younger watching like videos and everything, when these people would go on like vacations, they would come back to piles and piles of literally just boxes, and they would be on vacation for like 2 weeks at most. Like it wasn't even anything crazy. And then seeing like house tours and everything where they literally have a room, like their junk room that's just full of just PR because they don't know what to do with it. I think it's so crazy, like how much stuff these people get sent, especially because especially like the makeup brands and everything, where they're sending them. Because I always wonder, I'm like, how do they know like what their shade is? Most of the time, they're just sending them like all the shades. Like if it's like a new, I don't know, concealer that came out with like 30 shades or something, that influencer is getting all 30 shades of it, even though they're literally only going to use like two of them. So it really does like add to, like Kenny said, like just like the overconsumption of product, and it is overwhelming. but then I'm still like, I'm gonna receive some packages.
Right. Our email is readily available, and me and Liz will be forever grateful. Next, I feel like this is a perfect segue because this is another overtop thing. Brand trips, y'all. Me and Liz, y'all, brand trips. The girls on TikTok just got onto brand trips. Me and Liz have been there since the beginning. We've been knowing about brand trips. People on TikTok. I remember when Tarte they went to like Bora Bora or something. They're like, the brands are doing this. I'm like, yes, they've been doing this.
Exactly. Like the whole tripping with Tarte, that is not new. Them Bora Bora trips when they were in the Maldives and everything, that was a yearly thing, you guys. Like, don't let them fool you. And I feel like they kind of stopped for a little bit when Tarte was like on their little downfall. They're like on a little downfall for a little bit. And then recently with like TikTok, they started doing their little tripping with Tarte videos or whatever. But like, that's not nothing new, you guys. But like, these some of like the trips, I feel like Tarte honestly is the most like that is like the brand trip, you know? Like that one is the one that's like over the top. They're literally buying them suitcases. They're literally getting them to a private island, them and their little plus ones. But there's other like trips too that happen. And like literally any of the trips, I've never seen one brand trip that I'm like, why would you go there, you know?
I feel like Tarkin had their downfall around the same time as Dope. Real ones remember Dope and the Dope girls. I don't even have nothing to say except they're actually crazy. I can't even imagine being on one though. Like I don't know if I would enjoy it or not. I feel like it would depend on like the brand or whatever. But I know Tarte does them. I think Revolve does a good amount as well. Clothing, like I know at the top of my head, like White Fox Boutique, a bunch of those brands. So sorry if things look different. We just had a quick little oopsies. But anyways, I think we were talking about brand trips, clothing trips, all these extravagant things these brands do. And it's crazy because they send them to like the Maldives and then like they come to like a hotel room that's like stocked with things and it's actually insane.
I thought it was crazy, like when they would literally give them suitcases, because obviously their suitcase is packed with like clothes, and now they're getting all this free stuff. They're gonna need another bag for it. I will say though, I feel like most brand trips they do a good job of like bringing people who represent the brand or who like use that brand like in other stuff. Like I feel like especially the clothing brand trips, like the Free People one, Gray Bandit, like it's all influencers who wear that clothes on a day-to-day basis like before they blew up and everything. So I feel like most brand trips are good of like getting people that use their product already as is. For me personally, it does rub me the wrong way if it's like someone I know doesn't use that product and then they go on this brand trip and then now that's all that they're using, you know? Like you've been known about this, you know? But also kind of like tying it with like our sports girlies, our F1 girlies. You know, we've talked about this a little bit. The content creators and the influencers who are getting invited to like F1 Grand Prix races or like F1 events and everything and they don't even know a single thing about it. This is kind of like you're not engaging the right audience here. I mean, you are, but like not one that actually represents your brand or like watches your stuff.
In my opinion, I feel like yes, technically when you invite these people who, you know, have no regular like they don't talk about your brand unless you're inviting them. In my opinion, like yes, it gets eyes, but it's not gonna retain an audience at all. Like I'm just thinking about all these people, like for example, Tarte. I see influencers that I follow. I'm going on these Tarte trips, but Tarte doesn't have a customer out of beam. But let's say I know Charles' girlfriend isn't an influencer technically, but her collab with Rode was very authentic. Before even this collab, she was seen out with Rode and using Rode, so it was very authentic. So that made me like, oh, maybe I do want to purchase from Rode. These influencer brands they be working with are low key expensive. So, you know, when people talk about them, I'm just like, oh, you know, I'm gonna look, but I'm not gonna buy. But it's like, for example, Aritzia, I got some things from Aritzia because I've seen a lot of influencers talk about Aritzia authentically. I mean, Aritzia is not sending people on brand trips, but y'all get the vibes of what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna trust people on these brand trips who actually use the product or use that brand and shop from that brand versus like, oh, Tarte's inviting us to Bora Bora. Of course we're gonna go, even though I don't use Tarte at all. And to delve deeper into influencers being invited to things they don't know about, I don't really have more necessarily to say, but like I saw something about the Las Vegas GP that just really sent me. So allegedly, I don't even know the influencer that they're talking about, but they saw that she posted on TikTok or not TikTok, her Snapchat, like being just really stupid. And she was like, so if they start at the back of the grid, does that mean they have more of an advantage or something like that? It's just like stupid questions like that. I'm like, is that rage bait or is she just really like dumb. And like I'm not saying that like when you go to a F1 race you literally have to know everything, because like I just now got into the sport a couple months ago and I do not know everything, and I don't really want to know everything like that because I'm not an analytical person. But like, babes, learn the basics. Like I just feel like that's just like common courtesy to learn the basics. Like if like let's say me and Liz were invited to go to a hockey game, I'll be like, yes, let's go, it's a hockey game. But like I would sit there and try to learn, okay, like at least what is happening. But we want to get invited to an F1 race. So Liz is she learning, y'all. She learned it. Like she knows her stuff. She learned it. I saw Kelsey and Zandra. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Oh, Xandra.
Yeah, they got invited to the GP, and those are examples of people with that. I'm not sure why you're here. Um because they kept saying, we're at an F1, and that literally irks me so bad. Like that is, it's not, you're not at F1, you're at a race, babes. You're at a race. But that's fine. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
I feel like there's a reason Google exists, and you just do a little quick Google search instead of like putting it out there that you don't know what's going on. Like me personally, I know the gist of F1. I know the people, I know the teams. But if there's like something that's going on, and I'm gonna Google it really quickly, because not only you're putting it out there like on social media, but like, there's people around you. They're gonna be side-eyeing you, and I'm not trying to be like standing out like that.
No, literally, and I saw this TikTok where this girl was like, she was so annoyed because the people behind her were like, oh my god, like so and so hot, and just like saying like little things where it's like, they're not really there to see a race, they're only there to see the drivers, which is like kind of controversial. Like I get it, like the drivers are good looking people, so it's your money, but it would be annoying to sit behind people like that. But I know also I would probably be fangirling over how hot the drivers look as well. So, I would be a little bit of a hypocrite to be like, those type of people are annoying.
And I feel like this is our next little thing, is like the topic of the influencer content creator world, the pay. I didn't realize how much these influencers, creators are getting paid. Like it's actually insane how much they make for like a 30-second video. It really like puts into perspective how much money is in this like whole like field and everything. Especially like the content creators who like live in like big expensive cities like New York City. You're paying rent that's like at least 3K a month, and they're able to afford it and like go out to eat every single day. So like they're doing okay.
Yeah, honestly, for me, I didn't even realize how much influencers got paid until, yeah, before I started my YouTube channel. I went on a whole deep dive on like everything, being a YouTuber, being an influencer, because I was like, I really want to do this. I really want to make this a thing. And trust, you don't have to have a million followers to make money. Like there are micro influencers that are making like 500 to 1,000, maybe even more, like 10,000 a month doing social media. Like you do not have to have a big following. You can make six figures without having a million followers. Like it is actually insane. Like I said earlier, like it makes sense because it is a $1 billion, possibly soon being $1 trillion industry. So like these brands have money. Like they're putting all that marketing money into it. And in my opinion, I may be biased because I am a social media marketing major, but like it's worth it. Cause just think, all they have to do is, instead of paying like one celebrity like $500,000 or something like that, they can pay multiple people a good amount of money for like an Instagram post, 30-second video that's gonna reach way more people than one celebrity will. So it's like, it makes sense, it's smarter, it's cheaper, but I definitely do understand people's frustration with it. I don't know, because in one way, I do think influencers, like, they deserve that pay. I don't know if that's bad to say, or if that's even a little biased, since I do have a podcast with the hopes of it growing a lot and making that type of money. But it's just like, I don't know. I think it's deserved for the most part, because like people don't understand the hours you put into this. Sometimes influencers are working more than 40 hours a week. Like you don't have a set schedule, so you're not working a typical 9 to 5, so you are putting more hours in, and it could be very draining if you don't have like a team around you. But I also understand, it's like, why are influencers getting paid like up to 5 figures for one post, while nurses, they're not getting paid enough? Like it's hard to compare that because it's like two different industries. Like I would say like the medical industry, I don't know much about it, but I would assume a lot of it is like public funding maybe. So it's like, of course, the government don't like to take care of its people. Controversial opinion, but so of course it's not gonna get more money, even though they should be getting paid more money. But at least in America, the entertainment industry is really big, so of course a lot of money is going to go towards that.
And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that there's like so many different avenues of income within this field. Like it's not just making a video. Like most of their content comes from like ads, which can be different from like just a video where they talk about a brand or something, you know, like just views, like there's ads. And then there's also like just the links, like having like link trees or like to knows, whatever they're called, TikTok shop now, like all those little links, affiliated links with the influencer, like as long as somebody buys it, they're going to get some sort of percentage from it. And it's actually insane the amount of money they get from those type of things. My cousin, she has a friend who like we post on TikTok, and she started adding like little links to like her TikTok shop clothing items or whatever. And why was this girl making like $500 off of one video? And like she doesn't have a crazy following or anything, you know? Like it just shows you like all of those different avenues of income together is what like makes the influencer earning up to six figures and everything. But definitely, like Kennedy said, like the hours that they put in, like editing videos, if they don't have an editor, like they're the ones that are editing that video, especially with like YouTube now, I feel like is more long form content. Like instead of a 10-minute video, people are wanting like those 30-minute videos, hour-long videos. So like if that's what you're getting of the edited version, imagine how long that video is unedited. So like that 30-minute video could easily be at least a 2-hour video, you know? And it's like all like small clips that add up. So like the hours that they have to sit like watching that multiple times and everything, it really does add up to working like a 9 to 5. It's just like unconventional. So every day looks different. So like that's why it feels different. But like the work that they're putting in, I would say they are getting like their revenue and everything.
And also a thing that a lot of people are like, influencers shouldn't have that much money, but like low key, like if they're smart with their money, influencers really aren't spending that much money, if that makes sense. Like a lot of people like get on influencers for spending so much money and saying like it's not relatable. Like you just walk into Target and drop like $500. But think about it, they're getting paid so much money, but also getting sent so much free stuff. So in reality, how much are influencers really like spending out of their own pocket? And when it comes to like extravagant trips and stuff, a lot of them get gifted hotel stays, gifted dinners. Influencers, like they're just able to stay rich because of all the things they get for free.
And like Kennedy said, like they're putting in this investment into it, but they're making a lot more out of it. So it really does equal out for them.
And also making content is also like a passive income, because like you can still be making video, or you could still be making money off of a video that you posted 2-3 years ago that did really well.
Do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to add, Kennedy?
No, not really, but I do have to say, if you guys are looking for new influencers because you're sick of everyone not being real and authentic, you have 2 real and authentic ones right here. Thank you.
You don't have to go far.
We're right here, and share with your friends
On all of our social media platforms. And with that, you guys, this is the end of our episode. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening, however you're watching and listening to us. If you made it this far, make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms, and we'll see you guys next week on the Girls Lounge with Liz and KT. Bye.